You're doing everything right. You've downloaded the app, you're logging every single almond like it's evidence in a trial, and you're on that treadmill until your legs are shaking and your lungs are burning. You go to bed with your stomach growling, telling yourself it'll be worth it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes. You step on the scale, heart pounding with hope, and the number hasn't moved. Or worse, it's gone up. Again. You feel that sinking feeling in your chest, that voice in your head whispering that maybe you're just broken. Maybe your metabolism died somewhere in your 30s. Maybe your genetics are cursed and you're destined to fight this battle for the rest of your life while watching other people eat pizza and stay lean. It's not just frustrating anymore. It's soul-crushing. It makes you want to quit. But what if I told you the problem isn't that you're eating too much? What if the real issue is that you're eating too often? What if every time you put food in your mouth, even a healthy snack, even a piece of fruit, you're slamming a biological door shut, locking away the very fat you're trying to burn? Here's what's actually happening. Every time you eat, your body releases a hormone called insulin. Now, you've probably heard of insulin in the context of blood sugar, diabetes, that sort of thing. But here's what they don't tell you: insulin is the metabolic jailer. Its job is to store energy, not release it. And as long as insulin is circulating in your bloodstream, fat burning is biologically impossible. You could be eating celery and doing jumping jacks, and it wouldn't matter. The door stays locked. Modern humans live in a perpetual fed state. We eat breakfast, then a mid-morning snack, then lunch, then an afternoon pick-me-up, then dinner, then something sweet while we watch TV. We are constantly topping up the tank, which means we never, ever switch to reserve power. We're forcing our bodies to run on glucose 24/7, never accessing the massive stores of clean energy sitting right there on our hips, our thighs, our waistlines. You are literally carrying a lifetime of energy you cannot touch because the door is locked. Your body is standing outside a fully stocked warehouse, starving, because it doesn't have the keys. But here's the twist. The moment you stop eating, you don't just cut calories. You initiate a biological countdown. At specific hour marks, hidden switches flip inside your body. Hormones rise and fall. Ancient survival mechanisms wake up from decades of sleep. And the most profound change, the one that actually incinerates fat, the one that transforms your metabolism at the cellular level, doesn't happen when you think it does. It doesn't happen in the first few hours. It happens later. Much later. To understand exactly when that magic moment hits, we first have to survive the chaos of the first few hours. The phase where most people quit. The phase where your body screams at you, convinced it's dying, when really it's just waking up. So let's talk about those first 12 hours. The grumble zone. You know the feeling. Your stomach is making sounds like a haunted house. Your brain feels like it's wrapped in cotton. You're snapping at people for no reason, and every commercial for food looks like high-definition pornography. You're convinced that if you don't eat something right now, you might actually pass out. This is where most people throw in the towel. They raid the fridge at hour 10, tell themselves fasting just doesn't work for them, and go back to the endless cycle of grazing. But here's what you need to understand: this isn't true hunger. This is withdrawal. Your body has been running on sugar for so long that it's chemically addicted. Every time you've eaten over the past weeks, months, years, you've spiked your blood sugar and flooded your system with insulin. Your brain has learned to expect that hit. And now that you've taken it away, it's throwing a tantrum. There's actually a hormone responsible for this, ghrelin, the hunger hormone. It doesn't rise steadily like a slow tide. It comes in waves, like a toddler screaming for candy at the grocery store. It spikes hard, and then if you just wait 20 minutes, it crashes back down. The hunger isn't constant. It's a lie your brain is telling you. So what's actually happening inside your body during these first brutal hours? Your liver is working through its stash of glycogen. Think of glycogen as stored sugar, compact little packets of glucose that your liver keeps on hand for emergencies. But here's the thing, the storage space is tiny. Your liver can only hold about 2,000 calories worth of glycogen. That's it. In the grand scheme of your body's energy needs, that's nothing. It's a few hours of fuel at best. Now, let me give you a metaphor that'll make this stick. Your body's energy system works like a house with two food storage locations. You've got the fridge and you've got the freezer. The fridge is your glycogen. It's right there in the kitchen, easy to reach, convenient. You can grab a snack anytime. But it's small. It doesn't hold much. The freezer, on the other hand, is your body fat. It's down in the basement, behind a heavy locked door. And it holds 100,000 calories or more. It's stuffed full. It could power you for months. Here's the problem: as long as you keep putting groceries in the fridge, your body will never go down to the basement. Why would it? That's effort. That's work. The fridge is right there. So every time you eat, even a tiny snack, even something healthy, you're restocking the fridge. You're telling your body, no need to go downstairs. I've got you covered up here. Intermittent fasting is simply the act of forcing the fridge to go empty. That's it. You're not starving. You're not depriving yourself of energy. You're just making your body walk down the stairs and unlock the damn freezer. And that unlocking happens around the 12 to 16 hour mark. This is when your liver finally taps the bottom of the glycogen barrel. There's nothing left in the fridge. Insulin levels crash. They drop to baseline, sometimes lower. And this is the signal. This is the moment the metabolic jailer goes on a break, leaving the keys on the table. When insulin goes down, another hormone rises to take its place, glucagon. You can think of glucagon as insulin's opposite. Insulin stores fat. Glucagon releases it. Insulin locks the door. Glucagon opens it. This is called the insulin-glucagon axis, and it's the biological seesaw that determines whether you're in storage mode or burning mode. Once that basement door finally swings open and you tap into those massive reserves, you'd expect to feel exhausted, right? You'd think your energy would plummet. That you'd need to lie down, maybe take a nap. But something strange happens. Something that defies everything you've been told about food and energy. You actually start to wake up. Somewhere between hour 16 and hour 24, the hunger pangs just vanish. Not slowly. Not gradually. They disappear like someone flipped a switch. And in their place, you feel this sudden, unexpected clarity. The fog that's been sitting over your brain for the past few hours lifts. Your thoughts sharpen. Colors look brighter. You feel awake in a way you haven't felt since you were a kid. It's almost unsettling because it's the opposite of what you expected. You thought starvation meant weakness. But this? This feels like power. So what the hell is going on? Your body has officially entered a state called lipolysis. That's the scientific term for fat breakdown. Your fat cells, those little storage units you've been trying to shrink for years, are finally opening up. They're breaking down triglycerides, those big fat molecules, into smaller components, fatty acids and glycerol. These molecules travel through your bloodstream to your liver, and your liver performs a kind of metabolic alchemy. It converts them into something called ketones. Ketones are an alternative fuel source. They're what your brain and your muscles run on when glucose isn't available. And here's the paradoxical hook that nobody talks about. Conventional wisdom says no food equals no energy. Biology says no food equals cleaner energy. Let me take you back 100,000 years. Imagine a caveman. He hasn't eaten in 2 days. The hunting has been bad. The berries are gone. His stomach is empty. Now, if evolution had designed him to feel weak and sluggish when he was hungry, what would happen? He'd curl up in a corner and wait to die. He wouldn't have the energy to hunt. He wouldn't catch prey. His genes wouldn't get passed on. He'd be erased from the gene pool. So evolution did something brilliant. It developed a hunter's mode. A biological override that kicks in when food is scarce. Instead of shutting down, the body amps up. It says, we need food, so let's make you sharper, faster, and more dangerous until you find it. This isn't theory. This is hormonal reality. When you fast, your body releases norepinephrine, basically adrenaline. Your nervous system lights up. Your heart rate increases slightly. Your metabolic rate doesn't crash like everyone fears, it actually goes up by about 3 to 14% depending on the length of the fast. This is your body preparing you to hunt. Your pupils dilate. Your focus sharpens. You become hyper-aware of your surroundings. This is why so many people report feeling incredibly productive during a fast. This is why CEOs and artists and monks have used fasting for centuries to enhance mental performance. It's not deprivation. It's activation. I want to pause here and ask you, if you've tried fasting, have you felt this switch flip? That moment where the brain fog clears and you suddenly feel laser-focused? Or did you hit a wall and never make it past the hunger? Let me know in the comments, because this is where most people either discover a superpower or give up thinking they're doing something wrong. Now let's talk about what's happening at the cellular level, because this is where it gets truly wild. Your cells contain these tiny structures called mitochondria. You probably learned about them in high school biology. They're the powerhouses of the cell, right? They generate ATP, which is the energy currency your body runs on. But here's what they didn't teach you: mitochondria run better on ketones than they do on glucose. Glucose is dirty fuel. When your mitochondria burn glucose, they produce a lot of oxidative stress. Think of it like exhaust smoke from a car engine. It creates free radicals, damages cellular components, accelerates aging. Ketones, on the other hand, burn clean. They produce less oxidative stress, less exhaust. Your cells are running on premium fuel now, and they know it. This is what's called metabolic switching. You're not just losing weight. You're reteaching your body how to be a hybrid engine. For decades, maybe your entire life, you've only run on one fuel source. You've been a one-trick pony, dependent on constant glucose. But now you're remembering an ancient capability. You're accessing a backup generator that's been sitting dormant, waiting for you to flip the switch. And once it's on, once you're burning your own body fat to power your brain, you realize something profound: you were never actually hungry. You were just untrained. So you're burning fat at a record pace and your brain is lit up like a Christmas tree. You're feeling sharper than you have in years. But while you're enjoying the mental clarity and watching the scale finally move in the right direction, there's a microscopic cleaning crew waking up inside your cells. And what they're about to do is even more important than burning fat. Because this process doesn't just change how you look. It changes how long you live. This is the part that goes beyond the scale. Beyond the gene size. Beyond the reflection in the mirror. This is where fasting stops being a weight loss tool and becomes something closer to a biological reset button. It's called autophagy, and it's Greek for self-eating. I know that sounds horrifying, like your body is cannibalizing itself, but stay with me because this is arguably the most powerful anti-aging mechanism we have access to without a prescription. Here's the metaphor that makes it click. Imagine your house. If you're constantly buying new furniture, ordering packages, bringing in new stuff every single day, what happens? The house gets cluttered. It gets messy. You never have time to clean because you're always unboxing something new, rearranging, making space. Now imagine you stop all deliveries for a day. No new furniture. No packages. Suddenly, you have time to look around. You notice the broken chair in the corner. The dusty boxes in the closet. The junk you've been stepping over for months. And finally, you can clean it out. That's what autophagy does. When you eat constantly, your cells are in a perpetual state of growth and building. They're taking in nutrients, constructing new proteins, multiplying. There's no time for maintenance. But the moment you stop eating, the delivery trucks stop coming. And your cells can shift into cleaning mode. They start hunting down old, broken proteins. Damaged organelles that aren't functioning properly. Misfolded proteins that could turn into disease. Even viruses and bacteria that have been hiding in the cellular clutter. Your cells tag this junk, wrap it up, and recycle it for energy or building blocks. It's like a microscopic cleanup crew going room to room, clearing out everything that doesn't belong. This isn't just about feeling better. This is deep cellular rejuvenation. Scientists believe autophagy is one of the primary reasons fasting is linked to longevity. It's so important that the researcher who discovered the mechanisms of autophagy, Yoshinori Ohsumi, won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2016. Your body already knows how to do this. It's built into your DNA. But you have to give it the space. You have to stop feeding it long enough for the janitors to come in and do their job. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can hear the skepticism through the screen. Okay, this all sounds great, but if my body is eating itself, if cells are breaking down proteins for fuel, won't it eat my muscle? Won't I lose my gains? I didn't spend months in the gym just to turn into a skinny fat blob because I skipped breakfast. This is the fear. This is what stops people. And I'm going to debunk it right now with one of the most elegant biological mechanisms you've never heard of. When you fast, something remarkable happens to a hormone called human growth hormone, or HGH. This is the same hormone that bodybuilders inject illegally, the same hormone that keeps children growing, the same hormone that declines as we age and makes us feel old and weak. During a prolonged fast, your HGH levels don't just go up a little. They skyrocket. We're talking increases of 300%, 500%, or even more depending on the length of the fast. There's a famous study from 1982 by Kurnt and his team where they had a man fast for 40 days, admittedly extreme, but his growth hormone levels increased by 1,250%. 12 times higher than baseline. Why does this happen? Think about it from an evolutionary perspective. Why would Mother Nature make you weaker when you need to hunt? She wouldn't. That would be suicide. Instead, she engineered a system where your body protects its muscle mass during times of famine because muscle is what you need to survive. Muscle is what helps you chase down food, fight off threats, carry supplies. Your body isn't stupid. It knows the difference between valuable tissue and storage tissue. HGH acts like a shield around your muscles. It tells your cells, burn the fat. Spare the muscle. We might need to fight a bear later. This is why people who lose weight through fasting often look leaner and more defined than people who lose the same amount of weight through caloric restriction alone. They're burning pure fat while holding on to muscle. Their body composition shifts in a way that dieting never quite achieves. And here's the aesthetic bonus nobody talks about. Autophagy doesn't just clean up the inside of your cells. It also helps recycle excess skin proteins. This is why people who lose significant weight through fasting often have tighter skin, less loose skin, than people who simply cut calories. The body is literally reabsorbing and remodeling tissue as it goes. So we've got fat loss. We've got muscle protection. We've got deep cellular cleaning that's scrubbing away disease and dysfunction at the molecular level. It sounds like a magic pill. It sounds too good to be true. But here's the hard truth. The thing that separates people who succeed long-term from people who yo-yo diet forever, none of this matters if you don't understand the long-term game. Because fasting isn't a 30-day challenge. It's not a crash diet. It's a complete reframe of how you think about food, energy, and your body's capabilities. Let me zoom out for a second. Because the goal here isn't to fast forever. The goal isn't to become some kind of ascetic monk who lives on air and willpower. The goal is something called metabolic flexibility. And if you understand this concept, it changes everything. Think about cars for a moment. Most people's metabolisms are like old gas guzzlers. They run on one fuel source, and if that fuel runs out, the car sputters and dies on the side of the road. You've probably felt this. You miss a meal and suddenly you're shaky, irritable, foggy, desperate for food. That's metabolic inflexibility. Your body only knows how to run on glucose, and when the glucose runs low, it panics. It sends out emergency signals. It makes you feel like you're dying when really you're just between meals. But what if you could drive a hybrid? A high-performance vehicle that switches seamlessly between fuel sources depending on what's available? Gas in the tank? Great, we'll use that. Tank's empty? No problem, we'll switch to electric and keep cruising. That's metabolic flexibility. It's the ability to go from burning sugar to burning fat without the headaches, without the crashes, without the desperate need to stuff your face every 3 hours. And once you have it, once you've trained your body to switch fuels effortlessly, you experience something that most people have forgotten exists: freedom. The freedom of not being a slave to the snack drawer. The confidence of knowing you can go 6 hours, 8 hours, even 12 hours without eating and not fall apart. You can sit through a long meeting, take a road trip, get caught up in a project, and your body just handles it. You're not watching the clock, counting down the minutes until your next meal. You're not irritable and anxious because lunch got delayed. You're in control of your biology instead of your biology controlling you. And this is where the long game comes in. Because yes, fasting helps you lose weight. Yes, it sharpens your mind and cleans your cells. But the real prize, the thing that makes this a lifestyle instead of a diet, is longevity. We're talking about giving your digestive system a break. Your gut, your liver, your pancreas, they've been working non-stop since you were born. They've never had a vacation. Fasting gives them time to rest, to repair, to lower the chronic inflammation that's been simmering in your body for years. Studies are showing links between fasting and reduced risk of heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, even cancer. This isn't about looking good at your high school reunion. This is about being sharp and healthy and vibrant when you're 70, 80, 90 years old. There's a saying I want you to remember: moderation protects, but elimination heals. Sometimes the best medicine isn't a pill or a supplement or a superfood smoothie. Sometimes the best medicine is simply nothing. Giving your body the space to do what it already knows how to do. To heal itself. To clean itself. To remember what it was designed for. So if you're ready to unlock your biological potential, if you're tired of fighting your own body and you want to start working with it instead, hit that subscribe button right now. Because we're going to explore the limits of human health together. We're going to dive deep into the science of optimization, longevity, and performance. And I promise you, we're just getting started. Share this video with a friend who's still stuck on the eat 6 small meals a day hamster wheel. The friend who's counting calories and going nowhere. The friend who thinks their metabolism is broken. Send them this. It might change their life. But listen closely, because this is crucial. Fasting is only half the battle. How you break your fast can either supercharge these results or ruin them instantly. You can do everything right for 16, 20, 24 hours, and then destroy it all in the first 5 minutes of eating if you don't know what you're doing. You need to understand which foods to eat first, in what order, and why that order matters at a cellular level. Your body just went through a powerful fasting process, and now it's critical to fuel it the right way. I'll be uploading a detailed video very soon explaining the exact protocol to break your fast safely and maximize all the benefits we've discussed. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell icon, and stay tuned, so the moment the video drops, you know exactly how to honor your body with the right fuel.